would like to congratulate you on your decision to improve your life by playing the Abundance Game. It is the first game in history to take a person's spiritual well-being and character and directly relate them to your financial well-being. By playing this game, you can have fun while you create the most compelling future possible. The best learning in life comes when you don't know you are learning. Sometimes you will see references to the term serve to be rich because the Abundance Game was originally released under that name. This game is the beginning of an exciting journey of personal and financial growth. Playing the game will change your life because it enables you to experience a few years of your life in about 2 to 3 hours. So why does the Abundance Game have so much power to influence a person's life? The reason for this is because games are one of the best forms of education. The cone of learning is the result of research on the most effective ways people learn. It was developed by a university professor named Edgar Dale back in the 1960s. You can see that the bottom half of the chart is how we learn passively, and the upper half of the cone of learning is where we are actively participating. When we actively learn and participate, we will remember 70 to 90% of the lessons we're taught, while at the bottom half of the cone of learning, we only remember 10 to 50%. According to Dale, the worst ways to learn include things such as reading, hearing words, and looking at pictures about the things you want to do versus actually doing it hands-on. Then, you can truly experience the lessons being taught. The game was created so you can practice living an abundant life instead of just reading or hearing about it. That is why games are one of the most powerful ways to create a change in your life. And even though many of the instructions are on this DVD, it is still important to use the instruction booklet for reference. When playing the game for the first time, it usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes to watch the DVD or read the instruction booklet. And then it takes about 45 more minutes of gameplay to learn and understand how the game is played. So please be patient. The game is designed to shift your life in 2 to 3 hours of play. The game is best played with 3 to 4 players. If you want the game to go faster, try only 3 players. This game was created so that specific cards will be drawn by certain people. There is a reason why you are here playing the game, so seek out and pay attention to what lessons life is trying to teach you. The shuffle of the cards is left to something bigger than the game itself. In other words, life might just have a lesson for you to learn while playing the game. The objective of the game is to enhance your personal character called potential energy, or PE. The higher your PE, the better capacity you will have to buy investments that generate passive income. The idea is to learn how your creativity, thinking, and spiritual well-being are directly related to your financial success. Getting started. Now let's take a look at the game board. This is where you start the game, and from here you can move into the poor circle. And when you start the game, only use 1 die for the poor circle, 2 dice for the middle class, and 3 for the rich and the life of abundance. As you roll the die, move from space to space. When you land on a space, you must draw the associated card. When you draw a card, you must read it out loud so that everybody can learn. When you land on a blue opportunity space, you can choose either big opportunity or small opportunity. The difference between the two is that the big opportunities are generally $5,000 or more, while the small opportunities are generally less than $5,000 to purchase. This is where you can buy investments like gold, business, real estate, and intellectual property that we'll talk about later. Even though you cannot sell or transfer the top 3 cards, you can sell these blue opportunity cards to another player if you don't want to use it when it is drawn. This gives you the opportunity to practice your negotiation and persuasion skills. Now, if you want to purchase another player's blue opportunity card when they draw it, you can use cash, stock, or gold. Keep in mind that you can only do this before the player buys the asset on the card. In the game, you cannot partner with other players because it can create difficult math. To see how you can buy an opportunity, refer to the instructions here. There are diagrams that show you how with a few simple steps. Continue around the first circle until you purchase an asset. You can then move to the blue transition point on the center circle, the middle class. Transitions. Pay attention to these blue transition points because you may not be advancing to the next circle when you could be. Don't spend 5 or 10 extra turns being poor when you don't have to be. One thing to keep in mind with these 3 circles is that you can transition back and forth. For example, the way to graduate from the poor to the middle class is to own an asset. So if you buy some gold, you can move up. If you sell your gold and you have no other assets, then you go back. To move from the middle class to the rich, your blue transition button tells you that your passive income must be greater than your expenses. When this happens in real life, you will no longer need a job to make money. Now, in real life, can a person be rich and still be a jerk and have no integrity? Of course. We all know people who have a lot of money, but their lives are still filled with cheating, stealing, and lies. If that is the case while playing the game, you will be stuck here in the rich circle. Only when your character and integrity are high are you able to move on to a life of abundance. Once you transition from the rich circle to the life of abundance, you can never go back to the center 3 circles. And when the first player does this, the whole game will shift and speed up for all the players. In other words, the pace increases as the game goes on. Wouldn't it be crazy to have a game called Abundance without teaching more than just lessons about money? Now we will talk about how players can serve each other during the game. On your turn, no matter what stage of the game you're at, you can choose to serve 2 PE to any one player of choice. However, there's one catch. If you choose to serve another player, you must sacrifice your turn to do so. Sacrificing for others in order to truly serve them can align your life to the higher law of service. And service is the doorway to abundance. In other words, you feel what you give in life. If you want to sacrifice your turn in order to serve 2 PE to any one player of choice, this does not reduce your own PE. You create these PE by serving. You can give 2 PE to another player by doing one of the following: sharing an uplifting personal experience, telling a story with a positive message, or sharing financial knowledge. This is a time when a player can actually serve others within the environment of the game. Now, the player in the Life of Abundance can serve 2 PE to all players at the same time instead of just one. This allows the abundant player to serve up to 6 PE per turn if there were 3 other players that needed the service. They can do this because they have more resources. When you serve in the game, you do so without giving any money, because giving away money does not ultimately help the person grow and be more successful. That is why there is no loaning or giving away money or assets to other players at any time during the game. So in summary, all players can serve by sacrificing their turn. If you're in the center 3 circles, you must choose one other player to serve. If you're in the Life of Abundance, then you can serve all players in need of service. Winning the game. The person who gives the most PE points away to other players wins the game. This is where you keep track of how many PE points you served other players. In other words, the person who serves the most wins. And the game is over when all players get to the outer track called the Life of Abundance. Instead of pushing others down to get ahead, giving PE points actually helps other players up to the Life of Abundance. This is also true in life. The more you serve and create benefits for others, the richer you will become. One thing to take note of is that the winner is not dependent upon the person who gets to the abundant track first. Now, many people get stuck in the game because they forget their blue transition buttons and they forget to serve other players. So why is serving other players so important in the game? Is it because service is a principle of abundance? That is one good reason. Another reason is because true fulfillment in life can only come when you begin to fill the lives of others. This is not just a universal principle. It's a business principle that produces results. In other words, the more people you serve, the richer you become. Make sure you set aside 20 minutes at the end of the game to do a debrief. This is the time when you can talk about what you learned. This will dramatically help you to learn the deeper lessons of the game. Each time you pass a green space, it represents 1 month of your life. It also represents a payday. So when you land on or pass one of these green monthly cash spaces, you may collect your monthly cash from the bank. If you forget to ask for it before the end of your turn, you will lose the chance to receive your money. Monthly cash can be collected from the bank in paper cash only, not in gold or any other written forms. All players will start the game broke with no assets or paper cash, but don't worry because you will pass a green space on your first turn. Wild spaces, or the multicolored spaces, allow a player to choose one card from any deck. Remember, when you draw a card, you must read it out loud. It is useful to read the title in all three scenarios since there are great lessons to be learned when you contrast the difference between winner and loser thinking. Now let's take a look at one of the unique rules of the abundance game. Once you start the game, if a player's cell phone rings or they choose to use their cell phone or any other electronic device during the game, they will lose 2 PE each time for being a distraction. If the player complains about this, they lose 2 additional PE each time they complain. If you need to take a phone call, then do it, take the consequence, and move on. The game is a learning environment that can change your life, and this rule protects the environment. Calculators are okay to use. Game options. Here you may have personal opportunities during the game in the area called Fortune Favors the Prepared Mind. And here you have a place to write down game notes and thoughts. Then right here, you'll have an unlimited bank line of credit. Bank loans may be taken out in multiples of $1,000. Even though you can borrow from the bank line of credit at any time, you may only pay off debt on your turn. At this point, it's time to fill out your game sheet so you can get ready to start the game. At the top of your game card, you will see the potential energy or PE scale from 1 to 10. You cannot go any lower than 1, and the highest PE is a 10. This scale represents your character, way of thinking, and spiritual well-being. As you move up, you develop character, and as you move down, you actually disintegrate character. To determine your starting PE, roll 2 dice and take the highest of the 2 numbers. Then place your token on top of the PE value and adjust it as it changes during the game. Your internal world is represented here on the upper half of the sheet, while your external world of finances are represented below the PE scale here on the rest of the sheet. Notice how these top 2, income and expenses, are measured monthly, and these bottom 2, assets and liabilities, are the total balances of your monthly payments. For example, your car payment may be $200 per month, which would be up here, but you owe a total of $10,000 on the loan for your car, which is your total liability down here. Liabilities take money from you each month, and assets generate money for you each month, which is then added to your income here. There's a nice flow to the sheet. Transactions generally start at the bottom and follow the flow of the arrows. Notice how the sheet totals in the center. This is where you keep track of all your totals during the game. Now, when you fill out the financial statement, only fill out the boxes where there are stars. If the box doesn't have a star, leave it blank. Did you hear that? Don't touch it. If the box doesn't have a star, leave it blank. These are the 4 areas where there are stars. Now, when you fill out the financial statement in these 4 areas, you can use the average numbers already printed on the sheet, or you can use your real-life numbers. Many people find it extremely valuable to put their actual real-life numbers into the game sheet because it allows you to play the game as if you're doing it in real life. If you use your real-life numbers, there are 2 things you must do to make sure the game numbers function correctly. 1, you must begin with a positive monthly cash. And 2, everybody must start the game with at least $1,500 in your total expense box here. If you just want to keep things simple when starting the game for the first time, you may want to use the average numbers by copying them over on your sheet here. Using the average numbers simplifies things for first-time players. So in summary, you will be ready to start the game by doing 2 things. 1, roll the dice to find out your starting PE. And 2, fill out the boxes where there are stars. In a few seconds, you will want to pause the DVD and fill out your financial statement before continuing. Please remember to total your numbers in the center and only fill out the boxes where there are stars. Make sure that you only use a pencil. If you have a pen, throw it away, get it off the table, get it out of here, because we're going to be erasing. To start, please change your salary from $3,000 to $4,000 in order to speed up the game. Now go ahead and pause the DVD now. Did you total your numbers in the center? Do this now if you haven't, and remember that your resulting monthly cash is what you collect when you land on or pass a green space. Now that you have filled out your financial statement, We will conclude with a few definitions and sample investments. Let's review 3 terms. The first word is intellectual property. Intellectual property is like converting yourself or an idea into something you can put into a box. A good example would be writing a book, or you could sing and put your voice on a CD that you package in a box. You could also patent a good idea. Unlike a piece of real property like a duplex that can only serve 2 families, a book about how to buy duplexes could serve 2 million families. The duplex is limited to a local area, while intellectual property could be used in several countries at the same time. If you serve 2 families, you make a few $100s. If you serve 2 million families, then you make a few $1,000,000. Intellectual property is unlimited because you have the capacity to print as many as needed. It is like printing your own money. The second word is residual income. Many people call it cash flow, passive income, or mailbox money. Cash flow is residual income that comes to you each month with very little work to get the money. A good example of residual income could be a singer who sells 50 CDs on the other side of the world after they go to sleep at night. Or a check you receive from a rental property after you pay all the management fees and repairs. Whether it be a music CD you recorded 4 years ago, a book you wrote last year, or some rental property, you keep getting paid over and over again for the rest of your life for the work you did months or even years earlier. The rich don't depend on mutual funds, 401ks, or Social Security. They create their own residual income. And residual income is the reason why rich people have more money in their bank account each morning when they wake up, because their systems are working for them. The last term that is important to the success of your financial future is ROI. ROI stands for return on investment. Return on investment is a number that tells you how much you get back each year. For example, if you put out $1,000 into a mutual fund with a 10% ROI, you would get 10% of the $1,000, which is $100 per year. If you put $1,000 into savings with a horrible 2% return, then you would get $20 back each year. If you put $1,000 into a business that had a 100% return, then you would get 100% of your money back each year, which would be $1,000. The ROI tells a story. The higher the percentage, the better the deal. ROI is a critical concept to understand if you want a successful financial future. If you want more details, you may look at the definitions section in the back of the instruction booklet. Here's an opportunity card. Notice the 3 colored sections. These are stories and details showing the difference between winner and loser thinking in the investment world. Remember to read the title and all 3 scenarios out loud when the card is drawn so you can contrast what different people do with the exact same investment. This is where you learn that riches are created more by the person doing the deal than from the actual deal itself. Down payment. Your money that you have to give the bank to buy the investment. Now, if you sell the card to another player, they will still have to pay for the down payment after they pay you for the card itself. ROI. That's the annual return on investment. This is the return that you get every year for the rest of your life. Loan. This is a loan offered with the deal. The loan is already calculated into the cash flow. It is not necessary to have a separate payment added to your expense column. By the way, all loans in the game are interest only. Cash flow is what's left over after all expenses. This would include expenses like loan payments, management, maintenance, etc. Let's go over a sample transaction. Example 1. When you land on a blue space, you can choose either a big or small opportunity card. Let's choose from the small opportunity pile, which are generally $5,000 or less. It says small business, laundromat, in an area where many old apartments need the service. The card is then divided into 3 columns depending on what your PE score is at the time. You can choose to buy the investment or sell the card to another player. If you buy, select the scenario that represents your PE and do the deal. Since a laundromat is a business, turn to the back of the instructions and find Buying a Business. Notice how you start at the bottom and flow upward with the steps ending with your totals in the center. Monthly cash is the final result of how your laundromat investment affects you. To start, fill in the type of business, down payment from the card, and the cost. 2. If there is a loan, put it here. 3. If there is income or cash flow, put it here. 4. add any increase to your total passive income. 5, add any increase to your total income. And 6, increase your monthly cash. If you want to buy real estate or something else, just look in the instruction booklet and it will show you each step. Example 2. What if you want to borrow money from your bank line of credit? Turn to the back of the instructions and find bank line of credit. It is all done in 4 easy steps. Notice how you start at the bottom and flow upward with the steps ending with your totals in the center. To keep things simple, you can see that it says bank loans may be taken out in multiples of $1,000. To take out a loan from your bank line of credit, enter the total loan amount here. 2. Enter the total monthly payment here. Your bank loan is an interest-only loan and the payment is 10%. Your payment is always going to be your total loan amount with the last zero taken off. For example, if your loan amount is $4,000, then if you take off a zero, you have $400 per month for your payment. Number 3, total expenses increase. 4, monthly cash decreases because your expenses went up. Take note, you may borrow money at any time during the game. However, you may only pay off debts during your turn because you become a distraction. Be careful not to borrow too much, or else you might not be able to make the payments and you will go bankrupt. So let's summarize. This game is like a parable, and parables, like onions, have many different layers. Some of the layers in a parable take time to fully understand the meaning. That is why this financial and spiritual game will teach you different lessons at different times of your life. I invite you to make the decision to play the game twice a month for at least 6 months. This will produce a powerful shift in your life because the game can teach you precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, to the point where you not only know it in your mind, but it becomes a part of your soul. The abundance game will not only teach you how to generate riches financially, but it will lead you to riches of happiness and fulfillment. And above all, you can understand even more of who you really are. We have so many resources available to you on our website at higherlaws.com. Not only can you buy the game online, but you can also invite others in your area to play the game with you. With an online membership, we have videos and audio downloads to empower you even more to create a life of abundance. And when you sign up to be an affiliate member, there are many ways you can earn money when you share these things with others. Finally, now write this down. As a special offer, use the code word HigherLaws for a free personal assessment available at the bottom of our homepage. Good luck playing, and I wish you success in your future. I know that if you're hungry, this game has the power to shift your life. As you play, you can awaken your lion within and walk away from mediocrity forever.